really good.
Okay.
So,
We're an unruly bunch.
yeah. We're active.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We're adults.
I don't have any plans of going anywhere. Part two, honey, I shrunk the kilowatt hours. Actions taken in pursuit of a net zero energy home. Again, this is getting back to, in part one, we looked historically what was going on and the fact that most people aren't gonna pay attention, and I understand that, so we'll continue on. There's one thing too, I just want to mention briefly. In the late 70s, as I said before, I trained as a global troubleshooting engineer and served as a project manager for some joint ventures. One of the things that came out of it is they were really into what's known as Kaizen. What is Kaizen? Kaizen means the gradual, unending improvement, doing little things better, setting and achieving even higher standards. Kaizen's clear message is do it better, make it better, improve even if it ain't broke. Because if you don't, we can't compete with those who do. So this is a presentation about energy Kaizen, the gradual, unending improvements, doing little things over the last 15 years in pursuit of a net zero energy home. Now, I'm going to spend a little time on this graph coming up because so many people say, well, where do I start? How do I begin? And everyone's always worried capital outlay. What money? And I have a certain amount of money. How much? Where do I allocate it and so forth? And when you go after certain projects, when are they effective and when aren't they effective? Are you getting the biggest bang for your dollar? And before considering tax credits and incentives, the government's always offering tax and incentives. This is another topic sometime in the future, US Code 35-161. The government can only offer losers and encourage losers. They're forbade in 51 from offering winners, but that's one of the truths that.
Okay.
But so before considering those things, because like in California, they offered all these rebates and so forth, if you put in solar and so forth, and then the governor said, okay, we're not doing it anymore. You got the stuff, but you're not gonna get credits or anything, because we can't afford it. So there's traps like that. So options we have to look at, solar panels and batteries. When does it work? When the sun shines. When it doesn't shine, it don't work. That's why you need the batteries. Wind and batteries. Wind between 6 and 12 miles an hour. If it's under 6, they don't work. If it's over 12 and they result in problems, then they'll shut them down. Geothermal and heat pumps. Those work every hour of the day, day in, day out, year round. If you've got electricity and you turn on that switch and you need the air conditioning or heating, it's there. But again, unlike solar and wind, renewable geothermal does not generate electricity. But for every unit of energy you use, it creates additional energy, which is kind of like what solar does, but it's not pulling it from the sun itself. It's using thermodynamics and stuff, which will pass here. LED lighting. It saves you money when it's on. If you have an incandescent 100 watt light bulb and an LED equivalent, and they're both off, and you don't need them, well, it's not saving you any money. It's not hurting you either. So when you're calculating how much this saves you, you have to figure out, well, how many hours in the day am I using it and so forth. Maximize passive solar. What's the difference between passive solar and solar? We're going to get into that.
Can I ask one quick question?
Yes.
When you say geothermal heat pumps, are all heat pumps geothermal, or do
No.
you mean?
Geothermal is a heat pump, but there's other kind of heat pumps. Geothermal uses water and underground, a stable temperature,
All right.
whereas heat pumps use air
Oh, okay.
and the
That's what I
variation
wanted
in
to know.
temperatures.
Thanks.
Passive solar, just like solar, it's when the sun shines it works. And then insulation, elimination of drafts, conservation, when does that work? Yeah, every hour of the day, and once you do it, it's the gift that keeps on giving, day in, day out, year in, year out. It's there. Cost to eliminate a kilowatt hour from each of these. I mean, okay, you're gonna install some solar. If I'm gonna save 1 kilowatt hour per year doing these different methods, how much is it gonna cost me to save that 1 kilowatt hour per year? Solar panels, right now, it's $6.34 per kilowatt hour. That's 1 kilowatt for the year. So if it's a 1,000 kilowatt hour system you're looking to save, it's gonna cost you $6,334. That's if your solar panels face east like mine does. South is a little better. West is a little
Ours
worse.
face south.
What's that?
Ours face south.
No, our roof
Oh, the
faces
roof.
east.
Oh.
It's where you're gonna lay the solar panels. No calculations facing north since you don't get sun like that.
Unless
Wind, $3, so you know another place where the sun don't shine. It's the north. $3.90 based on, getting on the internet and looking, what the options were. Heat pumps, geothermal, when I did this, it was $1.48, 99 cents for lighting. Passive solar, 93 cents. Insulation, drafts, conservation. I'm looking at all the expenditure I did and divided into the number of kilowatt hours I've avoided, and that's how it works out. So, let me ask you, if you had a limited amount of dollars, what would you attack first?
Insulation and conservation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what you do is, once you, years payback, well, payback based on, these were based on, 18 cents per kilowatt hour in 2007 when I was doing this, and of course, we've seen it as high as 27 cents recently. So, here's my paybacks based on the, 18 cents. And so, yes, you work your way from the bottom up. And if you have any money left over, then okay, I'll explore this one next, and I'll explore this one next. And so, total expenditures over my 15 years here, $80,000 on insulation drafts. There's a lot of things associated just on insulation. We'll get into that bit. And avoidances is about 147,000 kilowatt hours a year. 95,000 on passive solar, but that includes putting in the atrium for what I call a passive solar heat pump that we'll discuss later. That was 65,000 on that. But it also gives me a garden, it gives me scenery if I'm getting tired of
But
snow.
included taking down trees so we get more sunlight through this south facing
Right.
window.
Yeah, all that'll be discussed.
I remember you saying that last time.
So
The
Yeah.
solarium,
Yeah.
that is part of the increase in square footage of your house you're counting, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yep, because I'm heating
Yeah.
that to keep stuff from dying, freezing to
Those
death.
oranges.
6,000 on lighting, because there's only so much opportunity there, so I converted everything over. 140,000 on heat pumps, but notice the 4 asterisks there? Reason is, I reduced my geothermal requirements from 20 tons down to 6 tons because of all the things I did earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I shrunk my energy footprint. Or as the title goes, I shrunk my kilowatt hours. And so, instead of 140,000, I paid 40,000. And I'm saving about 27,000 kilowatt hours a year. I'm still consuming about 8,000 or 9,000 kilowatt hours on heating, but if it had been resistant heating, I would have had another 27 to that because the efficiencies of using the heat pumps, the geothermal. I I like to say I ran out of money, but no, I just found $400 worth of things I do with wind, and I'll show you what those were. And I did splurge on solar, $600. And we'll get into that bit. And that light you see up there in the corner there, that's the light hanging there, that's off a battery. If I lose power, I got those throughout the cabin and
Solar powered.
solar
Yeah,
power.
okay, yeah.
They're off batteries from my solar 8 panels, but we'll discuss that. So that's saving me about 94 kilowatts per year. Okay, here's the thing now. What we're gonna do, we're gonna work our way up the rungs of what we did and how we spent it and so forth. So with that, I'm gonna just